are pretty similar, you know, with the nose in stuff. So I mean, it's not really a problem with the helicopter. So I'm kind of mystified as to why suddenly it is with the airplane. So I flew the Whiplash, had a good flight. I flew the old OG original green Mongoose, but the new one, when I was taking the blade holder off, the plastic washout arm broke, which I'm very fortunate it happened on the workbench and not with the helicopter in the air, because that would have definitely been a crash. So here's the thing. My buddy was working on it up in Pennsylvania, helped me out, and he's really wanting me to swap out, well, set up my helicopters with the new way everyone's doing pitch curves, which I didn't want to do. So just for reference, the old school way of doing it was having about 5 degrees positive pitch at mid stick, and apparently the new way of doing it is to have 0 degrees of pitch at mid stick, and I don't like that. It's different. So the new way is like negative 12 degrees pitch at low stick, and that's for the guys that do the crazy inverted flying. I don't do that. I do sport flying. I do basically flying like the scale guys. So finish by saying about that, where that plastic washout arm broke. My buddy, well, the original washout arms are shorter than that one. He's like, well, you need a longer washout arm. I'm like, no, I don't. We have too much negative pitch. It doesn't need negative 11 degrees pitch. It doesn't need negative 12 degrees pitch. And he insisted that it did. So basically he was saying, okay, my way or the highway. Either I set up your new Airstar Mongoose the new way, or I set up all of your helicopters the old way, because he's saying you can't go from the old way to the new way because you're gonna start crashing your helicopters because they're so different. I argued against it, so I said, well, I had the Whiplash for 2 years, flew it successfully, and my Mongoose helicopters were set up the old way, and I didn't have any problems. I know they're different machines, they're going to fly differently. So what he ended up doing was taking the metal, I guess they're aluminum, washout arms off, and he cannibalized some plastic washout arms that were like ridiculously long, too long. And then he had to try to take the ball out in order to, because it was such a hyper angle. I guarantee that the ball links for the washout arms would have popped off, because it was just too extreme. It was too egregious of an angle. It's too much. So I said, I don't like it because it's plastic. I don't like it because it's hodgepodge. It's off of another helicopter. And he swore up and down, oh, well, the plastic's stronger than the aluminum. And then he found a spare piece of aluminum that he had, and proceeded to go into a side workshop with a I can't think of the name of it. You crank it and it like goes in a vise. He cranked it into a vise, and then he took pliers and he bent the aluminum, and he claimed that, you know, the plastic was more resilient, more strong. I didn't want it, number one, because it's not the right part. They're too long. And number two, I don't need negative 11 or 12 degrees of pitch with an 18 to 20 pound helicopter. The Mongoose helicopters weigh at least around 18 pounds. And I'm never going to fly them upside down. So I don't need anywhere near negative 11 degrees pitch. And that was the problem, because with the original washout arms, they're only designed for like maybe 5-6 degrees down pitch on the rotor blades. And I am so lucky, guys, today that I didn't crash my brand new, well, I say brand new, I overhauled it and rebuilt it, brought it back to life. Now it's, you know, it's all blacked out, covered in dust and dirt, like it sat in a barn for 5 or 10 years. It took me 9 months to get the money to get all the servos and the electronics and everything. It's an expensive hobby, and so I'm just thanking God right now that that broke when I was taking the blade holders off, because if it hadn't broke then, it was obviously brittle enough to snap and break. I couldn't even find it. I looked everywhere on the table. I looked on the ground. I never found it. Wait a minute, there it is. Yeah, that's it. Huh. Well, sometimes even a blind squirrel finds a nut. Look at that. But you can bet I'm going to say something to my buddy Larry, because he swore up and down that this plastic was infinitely stronger than the aluminum, and it broke. And you know, I'm so thankful, and I'm very, 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 very fortunate this snapped and broke on the ground, because if this washout arm had snapped and broke in the air, I would have lost control of my RC helicopter, and I would have crashed, you know, an RC helicopter that I've probably spent $2,500 to $3,000 taking apart, overhauling, rebuilding, and everything. So go with your heart, guys. Go with your judgment, right? Now, that's my major malfunction, okay? I don't mean to sound like I'm complaining, even though I really am, because it's frustrating, because you know, my major malfunction is that I just did not start building my own helicopters from the beginning, and that's the best way to do it if you can. But the bottom line is, I mean, you know, a friend's helping me out with an RC helicopter, an RC airplane, and after a certain point, you know, the owner of the aircraft should get the final say if they have a certain preference. My preference was not to replace the original metal aluminum washout arms that were shorter than this. And the crazy thing was, I was test flying this thing yesterday in my backyard at home, trying to straighten out some other things, and it flew really well. I made some adjustments in the 3SX with the help of my friend Raja, and I tweaked the engine. I had the engine, I mean, it was hovering around. Unfortunately, my GoPro battery died on me, so you know, I deleted the footage. It was just footage of me pulling the pull start and narrating what I was doing, and then the battery died. So had a good flight today with the whiplash, getting into some forward flight. The muffler stayed on, using that red heat resistant Loctite apparently did the trick. I flew my old green Mongoose, the OG, and let's see, that was it. Because when I tried flying the green one, this piece broke, and then when I went to fly the orange flybarred one, for some reason the battery was dead. So you win some, you lose some. I had fun flying the whiplash. I had fun flying the OG Mongoose.